Retailing at from around £60, the Keter Folding Work Bench offers quick assembly and great stability. It has plenty of great reviews, but does it live up to its reputation? Stay tuned to find out. So after 6 or 7 years of previous ownership of one of these Keter workbenches, I had to replace it because unfortunately it got folded up incorrectly and one of the legs just, well, it snapped and fell off. It wasn't my fault, I'm not going to blame anybody, but let's just say it wasn't Mr. Hoarder, was it Mrs. Hoarder? Anyway, these things are awesome, I really like them. They're compact, they're easy to store, being plastic, don't have to worry about them getting wet. They weigh, give or take, about 11 kilos, so they're a bit weighty, but you can chuck them in the van, chuck them in the workshop, doesn't really matter really, they're very, very portable. All ABS plastic, so not the strongest material in the world, but they, well, like I said, cheap and cheerful, around £60, so it's not exactly breaking the bank. And like I said, my last one lasted me about 6 or 7 years before it was untimely demised. So let's get the packet open and just see really why I think these things are so good. Well, not much packaging on these things because, well, they don't need it. Just a bit of cardboard, bits of tape. Apparently you can get these open in about 30 seconds. Obviously that's when they've been unwrapped. Okay, so just a quick description of these. You've got your guide rails for where your clamps can go in, a couple of extra handles or some points where you can put your clamps through so you can lock them on as well. Your release catches, one on each side, which will become apparent in a second. And this little hole here is your little safety catch that will actually say lock when you've obviously locked the table into position. So 30 seconds, I reckon I could probably do it less because I have done it a few times, but put it down on the floor, nice and flat on a nice safe area. Get your hands underneath each handle, thumbs on the release catches, put them back and hey presto. Now what you do need to do, underneath here, where your carry handle pops through the top, the lid folds up. Now we do is just push it all the way around. Oh, they changed the design very slightly from my last one. So it's taken a bit longer than the 30 seconds. You've got the side supports here. You need to just pull them or push them out to make sure they're there. Then you can take the centre handle and lock it in. And as I showed a minute ago, now the locked symbol is in position. Now these things, apparently they can take a weight of around 1,000 kilos, sorry, 1,000 pounds, not 1,000 kilos. 1,000 pounds, that's 450-ish kilos. I don't recommend it, but I have used these as tables for standing on to get into points where I've been lazy enough to get the steps up, but hey, don't tell the wife that or the insurance company. They have two clamps which are integrated into the mouldings. Now these things I really like. Made of metal, strong ABS, and again they've updated the design a little bit since the last version, but it's still very similar. You just push the catch in and it will just slide open. Similarly, so will the back one. So you can change the actual position of where you want things to go. Now fitting them into these, very, very simple. If you come on round, you've got the two pins. The two pins slide into the hole, run it down the rail, and then the pins on the back here lock in just down there. Now sometimes what you need to do to get that to lock in, you need to pull the trigger, because that releases the catch there, you see? And as I do that, that should lock in. But because the vice is actually in the wrong place, because it needs to be open. There we go. So it has been a little while since I've actually used these clamps. And the reason actually, funnily enough, is because I broke the clamps on my last one, so it's been probably a few years since I've done them and used them. But to release them, again, you just pull the handle and they just pop straight out and back in again. But really, really easy. You can have wood, plastic, other machine tools obviously, and you just simply just pull the trigger like you do any vice. It tightens up. To loosen it, push the button on the back, you can push it out, or again, you can release it on the rear clamp. One thing I would say about these, because the reason I broke these on the last one, that's actually quite stiff. Just needs a bit of play, but it's new. Because this area here is metal, and the mechanisms inside are obviously all metal, they are susceptible to a bit of damp, and the reason mine failed before is because basically they got all rusty and it all just basically fell apart, and the mechanism just stopped working. So my advice is, every time you finish using these, make sure you wipe them off with a clean cloth, get the debris off of them, just give it a very thin coat of oil. Just helps it last a lot longer, helps to keep the damp off. To store these, just simply put them back to how you had before, and as you can see with this one here, it's just in the moulding underneath the table. Fold it in, fold it in the right way. There you go, all in place, ready for you to take to your next job, or just simply fold it away and put it in the corner of your workshop. To unlock them, now what you mustn't do with these, and I learned again from first-hand knowledge of doing it myself, is the handle which you would carry it with is just in there. Now, for convenience sake, you'd think, great, just go in there, pull the handle out. Don't do that, because the force of just holding this in place, you run the risk of actually snapping the points which hold the handle on, and then you've got the handle to carry it with. So what you need to do is come around the back of it and just give it a bit of a knock with the palm of your hand, just to push it out. And then on both sides, just gently break the hinges, and it should just simply hold up into position. There you go, you're ready to take it wherever you want to take it. So yeah, I think these things are absolutely great. They do have a few downsides, one of them being that because they're ABS plastic, I assume blow moulded, that underneath, to get the strength, it's just crisscross plastic. Now that's great for weight saving, but if you wanted to take your clamp and you wanted to clamp it that way across, you simply can't do it. You need to put another block of wood underneath, or a piece of metal, or if you're really lucky, if your clamp's small enough, you might just get it into one of the holes. That's one of my bugbears with this. But it's a £60 table. It folds up. You can chuck it in the back of the van, chuck it in the corner of your lounge. Don't tell the wife. Hide it behind the sofa even, or even under the sofa. These things, I mean, they're practical, they're versatile. Chop through it with a saw. I did that with the other one. It took it like any other bench, and like I said, it's very strong. You can stand on it. Very, very light. Just move it around, pick it up, Put it anywhere you like, put your chop saw on it, cut your wood on it, even do metal work on it. Probably wouldn't weld on it because you'd probably melt it. But yeah, fantastic piece of kit. So let me know if you have a Keter workbench or if you're looking to get one yourself, and tell me what you think about it. Obviously very different from the wooden and metal counterparts, but equally as good in its own way. If you have any questions, drop them in the comments below, and if you like this video, please give me a thumbs up, as this really helps us and the channel. In the meantime, take care, and I'll see you next time. Well, now I've made the video on how to use it, the missus can watch it and go away properly.